Today, we'll discuss who the real boss in the company is. Upon hearing Bingdou recovered a large debt, he was impressed and invited him to the club. He invited 2 girls along. Sighing's a pro, soon having as much fun as a kid. Bingdou sat quietly like an invisible man. The big boss admired him, but knew that there can only be so many fans around a big shot. Suddenly, the big boss assigned Sighing a secret task before Bingdou, with a dubious mysterious note. He said, "Hey, go check it out. Is there something going on? It'll stick with you forever, but I have no interest in the truth, like a cat that just touched a live wire. Anyway, the police have been a bit busy lately. Prosecutor Park has been keeping an eye on that big boss. His business is exactly legal, and if they find out, it's game over." So the big boss felt a bit murderous, but since Sighing declined, he didn't want to push it too hard. Instead, he praised Bingdou's collection skills and handed over the long-planned arcade to him. Suddenly, a wave of riches hit him, and Bingdou felt like he was just served a feast by the big boss. He was determined for a big score, but this arcade's in Sanchigang's territory, like stealing from another's plate. Bingdou worried someone might crash the party, so he stood guard at the entrance on opening day. Just then, his buddy Minghao called. Minghao is a budding director who wants to shoot a gangster film. He heard Bingdou was doing well, so he thought he could find some inspiration. Being treated like this made Bingdou feel as proud as a little princess. Subtitles. Just after a few words, Bingdou's subordinate called, saying the Sanchigang was stirring up trouble, making Bingdou as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. This was his first real business venture. If he messed it up, he'd have nowhere to go. Bingdou sprinted back to the arcade and kicked the door open like he was scoring a goal. He jumped right into the fray. The other side was well prepared, armed to the teeth, so polite of them. Bingdou and his guys were purely hand-to-hand fighting. It became a Hollywood blockbuster-level brawl in no time. Minghao quickly pulled out his phone to record the scene, thinking he might need this for his movie. Just when the plot thickened, the Sanchigang made a sudden retreat, and a bread truck conveniently rolled up. Clearly, this was a well-planned blitz attack. By the time Jiang arrived with his team, the enemies were already ghosts. Staring at the wrecked arcade, he was furious, his eyes blazing. He didn't expect Sighing would cover him like this. Bingdou was so touched he almost teared up, but as he chased after the Sanchigang with his crew, he found out they didn't even budge. Subtitles. Actually, they were lurking under a bridge waiting for them. Bingdou suddenly understood in his heart that Sighing had deliberately set the fire to make him confront the Sanchigang. The tragic moment arrived as the opposing team launched a torrent of attacks, like a flock of crazy seagulls. Subtitles. Bingdou and his subordinates were trapped in the car, at the mercy of others, just like sick cats being attacked. As the leader, he had to fight at the forefront. He struggled to open the car door, and though his brothers were scared stiff, seeing Bingdou's fighting spirit turned them into brave lions. But their opponents were too numerous, and having no choice, he pulled out a knife, and an epic battle was about to commence. At this point, the fight unexpectedly dragged on into a mud pit, transforming into a comically absurd mud wrestling match, with Bingdou almost getting bitten off several times. Seeing this, Songzi rushed to save Bingdou. Despite just 6 or 7, they charged, defeating 30. As the battle escalated, Sighing arrived late with the follower and stabbed wildly, stunning Bingdou. Although both sides were trying to maintain peaceful attacks, nobody expected it would lead to a fatality. Gang fights might be normal, but a death is a big deal. The big boss was very concerned. Sighing quickly compensated the victim's family and secretly shifted the blame to one of his underlings. What a kind heart indeed. He even unilaterally decided to give the arcade to Yeonju as a form of compensation so generous it was hard to process. Bingdou's jaw almost dropped. He fought tooth and nail with his brothers, finally eliminating the Sanchigang's swagger. He had thought he could manage the business steadily, but to his surprise, it turned out to be Sighing's pawn sacrifice strategy, which was absolutely intolerable for him. Subtitles. Bingdou had absolutely no time to wait, so he knelt down to beg for help. yet feeling increasingly desperate as his condition grew more and more severe. With a sick mother and siblings still in school, Bingdou was trapped in a survival situation. Dying's pressure left him nowhere to turn, pushing him into a dead end. Suddenly, the prosecutor came to investigate again. Syings was supposed to be driving, but he called Bingdou instead, bringing in a bunch of thugs. "Kid, how can you take this? You should send out the beast instead." The big boss didn't want the prosecutor to see him like this, stepping in to help Bingdou, but ultimately it backfired. In his heart, he muttered, "You're not an ordinary person, but a flashing god." The prosecutor's humiliation silenced the big boss. On the way home, he asked about Bingdou's age. "Why does he remind me of the young Syings? It's just like back in the day." But today's Syings is so sharp and slippery, he's nothing like the close ally he used to be to the big boss. The big boss sighed, "I have too many projects, but can't find a true confidant. Syings is your older brother. You can't complain like me. You just have to listen quietly." At this moment, the big boss chuckled. "Bingdou, I need a good assistant who can help me make some money. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and offer me a big support."